Since the last video that I made for our newsletter, since our last newsletter came out, our entire world has changed. October 7th happened, the most horrific massacre of Jews since the Holocaust, the most brutal, sadistic incident that our people have gone through in decades and decades. And then, as if that's not enough, suddenly the world just turns on us. College campuses, you have students being barricaded in the library in New York. Downtown in Denver, at a protest, people calling to globalize the Intifada. Of course, the Intifada, which is when the terrorists blew up buses and cafes. It's been a lot. Been a lot. You know, in the south of Russia, the mob raiding the airport, looking for Jews, going to hotels, looking for Jews. Our world has changed dramatically since the last time that we sent out a newsletter, since the last video that I made here. So how do we proceed? Where is our comfort? It's a very scary time as we think about the threat Israel faces from Hamas, the heroic soldiers on the front lines. It's scary with the tunnels in Gaza. It's scary with Hezbollah to the north. There's a lot of fear to be had. And then obviously the fear that we have as Jews in the diaspora, where just a lot of people that we thought maybe were our friends, not really so much our friends. People we thought would have our back don't really have our back. So what do we do? How do we move forward? And I wanted to share just a nugget of wisdom from this past week's Parsha that I hope can give us strength at this very, very difficult time. The Torah tells us that God takes Abraham outside and he says, look up at the stars. Can you count them? So will be your offspring. Go look up at the stars. Can you count the stars? So will be your offspring. What does that mean? Does it mean that Abraham's offspring, us, the Jewish people, are going to be as numerous as the stars? Of course not. The Torah itself says that we will remain few in number, that we're not going to be that vast. And we see throughout history, we're not that vast in number. What is the lesson here? So Meir Shapiro says what it means is go count the stars. God is telling Abraham to go count the stars. Can you count them? It's a rhetorical question. The answer is no. You can't count the stars. It's not a logical request. It's not a logical thing. It doesn't make sense to go count the stars. And God tells him, so will be your offspring. That will be your offspring as well. What does that mean? It will be your offspring in the sense, not the numbers, but in this illogical request, your offspring won't make sense. It won't make sense, your offspring. They're not going to make sense. When you look at Jewish history, it doesn't make any sense. What nation in human history has been exiled from its homeland and then 2,000 years later it came back? It doesn't make sense. It's never happened before. What nation in human history goes through everything we've gone through for no apparent reason, right? We were, originally with the ancient Romans, the ancient Babylonians, the Spanish Inquisition, the Crusaders, the pogroms, the Holocaust. We've been through it all. And it doesn't really make sense. And yet here we are, despite everything we've been through, here we are. And we wonder and we ask ourselves, where's everyone who's come after us after all these generations? Whatever happened to them? What happened to the ancient Romans, ancient Greeks, the Crusaders, the Inquisitors, the Nazis? Where are they? And as we go through this acutely painful time right now in our history, that we're living in front of our very eyes right now, every day we experience this, we ask ourselves perhaps, what's going to happen to Hamas? Are they going to triumph? The Torah tells us many times, but also in this past week's Parsha, it says, it says, God tells Avram, he tells him, I will uphold my covenant between me and you and between me and your offspring for generations to come as an eternal covenant to be your God. God seals with Abraham an eternal covenant to never abandon us, to never forsake us. And that to me is the only explanation. It's the only way it makes sense how we're still here. Everything we've been through, we're still here because God promises Abraham in this past week's Parsha, it will be so. So we are still here. And this too will pass. We will overcome this. Our heroic men and women serving the Jewish people will be brave and will triumph. And this too will pass. And Hamas will be relegated to the same category that the Nazis and the Inquisitors and the Crusaders, none of whom exist anymore. And we will endure and we will triumph. Right now, hopefully we can embrace who we are as we're reminded who we are. We can embrace who we are. We connect to each other, be proud to be Jewish, never to cower away from being Jewish, to wear our Judaism on our face, on our heads, wear a necklace, rock a mezuzah, whatever it takes, be proud of who you are. God should protect us all.